Hey, it's Hunt. You found Hunt on Saints. We're talking black and gold football. Do us a favor. Hit the like button, share your comments below, and hit that subscription button so you can get all of our content. Enjoy.
And what became very clear to me over the last two football games, specifically the game on Sunday coming off of a bye with the lead in the division on the line against a team that, quite frankly, isn't any good, is that the Saints aren't any good either, and they're nowhere close to getting any better. I believe this wholeheartedly. The Cam Jordan, Michael Thomas, Demario Davis, Alvin Kamara era in New Orleans is over. The next time the Saints put a product on the field that is competitive with the top end of the NFC, they won't be on it. I don't know about Marshawn Lattimore or Ryan Ramczyk. I don't know about Chris Olave, probably. But that core that has been so good for so many really good Saints teams that, yes, were spearheaded by Drew Brees, but that was the end of Brees, and these were the guys who were the main cogs around him on those teams. They're aging out of their primes, and the Saints have lost the rope. They tried to rekindle it and plug Derek Carr in with a couple of young guys that I just named around these guys who were your money makers, and this team stinks. I don't care about the standings in the NFC South anymore. The Saints' wins this year have come against Tyson freaking Badgett at home when you had to come back and win. A game at an Indianapolis team that was bad enough to draft a quarterback early. He's out, and they went with a backup quarterback in that game. The Patriots, who are a four-alarm dumpster fire, they're so bad that the greatest coach in the history of the sport is going to get kicked out the door. Do you know how bad you have to be to get him fired? And then you won a couple of games at the top with a team that's already fired their coach in Frank Wright, and the Titans, who you beat by a point, and you scored 16 that day at home. They never play well. Never. Sometimes they're remotely competitive, but remotely competitive is not the goal. I said before the season started that, yeah, your head coach is in year 2, and yeah, you've got a new quarterback. This is not a rebuild. This is we have to win now. We're going to rely on Cam Jordan. We're going to rely on Michael Thomas and Demario Davis and Alvin Kamara. We're going to rely on Tyrann Mathieu and Marcus May, both of whom are in their 30s. We're going to push off the dock and go try to win with a quarterback who's past his prime. There is no rebuild here. That is, we need to be good now. They stink. And this era of those great players is over. And the Saints have shown absolutely zero willingness to hit the reset button. They pushed every chip they could possibly push in with Drew Brees, and I think that was the right thing to do, and they had good teams there, and it didn't work. And then Drew left, and they said, well, we just got to keep going. And they never took the foot off the gas. They never shifted gears. They just kept the throttle going full speed ahead as fast as they could go, and the car stinks. And that is not a pun on purpose, but you can use it if you'd like. There is very little room to look at this roster, look at this situation, look at this front office and coaching staff, and have any sort of hope about the next 14 months of Saints football. That can change if you draft a quarterback and you cut bait with some of the older players and you get a lot of draft picks and you see what happens with some younger players that may pop. But this front office doesn't do that. They trade their picks to move up for one guy. They go into free agency and spend big on individual guys. They don't try to accumulate more young talent. They tried to win. They're not winning. They're losing to Atlanta. They're getting crushed in Minnesota by a team without Justin Jefferson and their starting quarterback. They were pretty non-competitive with Jacksonville for 3 quarters at home. They got beat by a rookie quarterback in Houston. The Bucs, who we thought were on the verge of tanking, came into the Superdome and annihilated the Saints. The Packers couldn't get out of their own way early this year. Love was turning the ball over at a remarkable level, and the Saints coughed up a 3-score lead. They're terrible, and I don't think they're going to get any better anytime soon. And I will promise this. Even if they manage to win a couple of games here moving forward, I don't know, picking them against Detroit. They'll probably beat Carolina at home. The Giants are awful. I'm not going to get excited about the Rams and Bucs and Falcons to end the season trying to win the division, because I have watched Dallas play. I have watched San Francisco play. I have watched Philadelphia play. There is no chance that this team can make a run in the playoffs in this conference, and the conference is okay. There's no chance. Even if they win the division, I don't care. And I'm not going to get excited about it. There's too much evidence here that massive changes have to be made. And if getting a home playoff game and playing competitive with Dallas or Seattle or whoever makes this organization feel like they need to stay the course, it's a disaster. You've got to hold your nose, go underwater, and realize it's going to be a while until you can come up for air. And when you do, Dennis Allen and Pete Carmichael won't be anywhere around. Derek Carr has to be, and that's disappointing. But it's cooked. They're awful on offense. They're aging and not as good as they were on defense. Their coach is clueless. They're in a bad place at quarterback, and in terms of the salary cap as a whole, it's just a disaster. And this is crystal clear. I'm not going to come back on this statement if they beat Detroit at home on Sunday. I'm not going to do it if then they go beat Carolina and New York and they've won 3 in a row. I'm digging my heels in on this franchise right now. And this is the same guy who in August looked at the roster, looked at the division, looked at the conference and the schedule of quarterbacks you were going to play and said, Saints fans, you ought to be pretty excited about this season. I said that in August. I'm an idiot.
Hey, it's on. Thanks for watching Hunt on Saints. Before you leave, help us out a little bit. Hit that like button, leave your comments in the section below, and hit that subscribe button so you get all our content right here from Hunt on Saints. We'll see you next time.